main stage, we're going to talk about diamonds and the diamond industry that is rapidly evolving. But you probably all know that Antwerp is the diamond capital in the world. And there is also a young startup based in Antwerp who is revolutionizing the industry. And Nova Love, we all know that diamonds are a girl's best friend. So tell me, who will be the next diamond on this stage?
Our next speaker has a clear-cut vision for the future of diamonds that is fueled by data and technology. Together with her team, she's revolutionizing the entire diamonds industry from Antwerp, the city of diamonds, to Botswana. She has made it her mission to change the narrative with honesty, transparency, and fairness at its core, creating a positive impact on the people and the planet. It's time to change the diamonds industry with big data and big impact. Please welcome Margaux Donckier from HB Antwerp.
Good evening, everyone, and thank you, Nathalie and Nova, for the introduction. I wanted to start with asking all of you one question, and that is, who of you already heard about HB Antwerp? I don't see a lot, but I don't see too many hands. And this is exactly what I expected, to be fully honest with all of you. Don't you think it's strange that a company that was only established in 2020 and grew to a company of 140 people here in the city of Antwerp, don't you think it's strange that you never heard about it? Don't you think it's strange for a company that realized a turnover of $250 million in the first 2 years of operation that you never heard about it? But at the same time, I'm not surprised, because we are active in the diamond industry, this secret, opaque world. And this is exactly the reason why we established HB Antwerp, because we want to destroy this mysterious world, and we want to replace it by something that is fully transparent. We want to stop the exploitation of African countries, and we want to replace it by true ownership, ownership of the people that actually own these stones, that own these minerals. And last but not least, we also wanted to replace this environment full of losers with an environment full of winners. Now, in order for you to understand what's the success of HB Antwerp, and we are a very successful company, because only after 3 years, we are seen as the biggest competitors to the beers. And the beers is this giant diamond monopolist that is controlling and dominating the diamond world for over 100 years. They are the brilliant company that put in all of your heads that you have to buy a diamond when you're going to marry, that a diamond is forever. And only after 3 years, De Beers is now fearing this startup from Antwerp. So how did we do it? First, I need to explain why the industry is not working. And I just want to show you this graph. It shows that a $15 billion market of rough diamond production ends up in an $80 billion market. $80 billion of polished diamonds sold globally. And you see that you need a few steps to come, of course, from a rough to a polished diamond. What you don't see in this graph is all the traders in between. And just let it sink in for one moment. Antwerp is the world diamond capital for diamonds. But everything that we're doing in Antwerp is just trading. Trading the exact same stones over and over again. There is no added value created whatsoever. Now, in order to make money when you're purely a trader, there's only one thing that you can do, and that's hide information in order to make some money on the back of someone else. And this is how you end up in an environment full of losers, because all of you are losers. I dare you, go to the jewelry shop tomorrow and ask your jeweler where your diamond is coming from. Ask if it's not coming from Russia, and he can guarantee you if it's not coming from Russia. He cannot. He has no clue what stone he is selling to you, because he is only coming at the end of this value chain, so he has no information, because all of this information is not shared with no one in this value chain. But you're not the only loser. Also, all the governments that are producing these stones, they are also missing out, because they have no information about how their rough diamond and what it yielded in a polished stone, so they only get a small part of this $15 billion market at the beginning, while actually they should get a share of this $80 billion market. And what's even worse is that most diamond-producing countries, like, for example, Botswana, they're always locked in this box of mining diamonds. They're never involved in the trading, in the manufacturing, in the branding, in the marketing, in the sales of diamonds. Never. Why is this? So when we established HB, we wanted to do things completely different in order to make it transparent, fair, an environment that is a win-win for everyone. To do this and to realize the success that we have today, we had to do three things. And the first step was we had to get rid of this very old school and outdated supply chain. So we completely leaned out this value chain, and we only kept those elements that are actually creating value. That is, of course, the mine and the mining communities that are extracting these stones. HB, that established a mineral infrastructure to transform the rough diamond into a polished diamond, and then at the end, the consumer. Now, because we do everything in-house, from the moment a stone comes out of the ground, for the first time, we know exactly what every single stone yielded. So for the first time, we are able to tell the sources that we work, for example, the mine in Botswana, what every single stone yielded in polished value, what every single stone is worth to a consumer. And so for the first time, they get access to this $80 billion market. Now, by doing so, in only the first 2 years of operation, we were able to return 40% more money to the government of Botswana. 40% more money that they can invest in their economy. But in order to do this, we also had to completely rethink the way diamonds are not only sourced, but also manufactured and distributed. And so we had to step out of the box on how traditional diamond manufacturing is done. Because I don't think that any of you ever thought about stepping into the diamond world, because it's a world of maybe diamond craftsmen, it's craftspeople, it's polishers, it's traders, but you don't have any interest in joining that kind of business. So when I say that we have 140 people in Antwerp, I can tell you that only 35 of them are actually polishing diamonds. All the rest are people like you, are people with engineering degrees, people that studied economics, finance, marketing, whatever. Because it was these kind of people that we needed to completely do things differently and develop a new product. Because we have these people and partnerships like with big companies like Microsoft, we are tracking over 3,000 data points on every single stone that passes through our mineral infrastructure. These data points enable us to create a digital twin of every single stone that comes with verifiable, immutable data and will enable you as a consumer to know exactly where your stone is coming from, to know exactly what the carbon footprint was of the whole process, who touched your stone, where it was done, and in what circumstances. This is what you have the right to know. But we are the first company in the world of diamonds to do this. Now, we also wanted to create this environment of winners. So you already realize that for the first time you're actually winning as a consumer, because if you have this full data on your stone, it will also become worth more. Because imagine that one day you become famous when you want to resell it and you can prove that it's actually yours. You can sell it with it and it will become worth more. When we came to Botswana, we knew that we would create a very direct impact on this country because we are making 40% more money for the government. But we also knew that we wanted to do more. Because if we are transforming diamonds in Antwerp, because we have the technology to do it in a very efficient way, that we can compete with low labor, low wage countries like Indian manufacturing companies, we knew that we were also able to do it in Botswana. And so 2 weeks ago, we opened HB Botswana, the first fully fledged high-tech diamond manufacturing facility in Botswana. This facility will take them out of this limited box where they can only mine, dig, and wash diamonds, but for the first time, be part of the complete value chain from a rough to a polished diamond. For the first time, they will be able to actually transform their own natural minerals. Now, when we came to Botswana, we knew this direct impact would be very big. But we also have to admit that we also discovered a lot more about this country. We knew, of course, that diamonds were like 50% of the GDP of the country. But we didn't know that there was so much more potential. Because Botswana was lucky enough to only discover diamonds in 1967. And this was 1 year after the British left. And because they were so lucky, they never knew war. They never knew any trouble because of the fact that they were such a resource-rich country, like all the other African countries had. And so they were very smart, and they decided to immediately invest it back in the country. So before Botswana discovered diamonds, they only had a few kilometers of paved road. Today, you can travel the entire country without any problem. But they were also very smart to invest this money in the education of their people. Because you all know the African continent is a very young people. But we discovered that Botswana is not only a young population, but it's also a very highly educated, highly motivated population. So it was very easy to do business. And when we saw this, we decided to also take our partners there. Partners like Microsoft that we're working with to gather all these data. And when they traveled with us to Botswana, on the spot, they decided to make a movie for their Changemakers platform, because they saw, of course, what technology can mean for a developing country like Botswana when you do it in the right way, like the HB business model. And we're also bringing a partner there that we're now teaming up with for a project that will probably interest you, because it's together with Suspicious Antwerp. the clothing brand, that it's actually more of a lifestyle brand. And they discovered this hidden gem. Because who knows Botswana? It's never in the newspapers because it's so boring, because everything is going well there. And we are now working together on a very interesting project, which I would advise you all just to stay tuned and follow on Instagram what is happening. Now, if all of these partners see the potential of the country and the business model, and if you hear that we are not only making more money for Botswana, but we're also completely shifting the ownership, that these minerals not belong to us, but belong to them, and that they can be part in the complete process and develop their economy in such a way that they can create more jobs. Imagine what it would mean if you replicate this exact model to other minerals, such as cobalt, copper, lithium, all the minerals that all of us are using on a daily basis in our iPhones or computers or rechargeable batteries. There is so much more potential. And that's why I want to give all of you future entrepreneurs maybe some tips, some guidelines that helped us throughout these last couple of years to bring us where we are today. And that's first of all the mindset. Our mindset was very clear from the start that we wanted to create an environment of winners, an environment where there is no more limitation. Everything is possible as long as you try to do it the right way. Secondly, I also advise you to work in a data-driven way. Not only because data is the most valuable resource of modern society, but it helps you to make your internal processes more efficient, and at the other side, it also helps you externally, because data speaks for itself. You don't need to do marketing or verification processes. Let the people come and verify for themselves. Thirdly, it's the supply chain. And this was very important to us, because we vertically integrated this complex supply chain, and we made sure that every single aspect is controlled and steered by us. And this with only one single goal: to fairly redistribute the money to the people that actually are worth it. And last but not least, it's empowerment. It's empowerment, transferring knowledge, transferring technology, and empowering others to take ownership of their lives. And I think I speak for all of my colleagues that are also sitting here, that this is the most rewarding thing about working for HB Antwerp. We work closely with this young Botswana, and it's incredibly rewarding to see how empowering them gives you so much joy. So don't just work for yourself, but also work for others. I want to thank you for your attention, and I also want to invite you to our booth. I brought lots of colleagues with me this evening, and we also created a small game where you have to crack the code of a vault, because of course in diamonds we love to work with vaults. So if you crack the code, you can also win some prizes. So I invite you, of course, to our booth as well. Thank you.